So welcome to today's meditation, which is going to be, we'll start with the usual sort of release of the upper body so we can sort of feel comfortable in the bodysuit, so we can concentrate on other things. We'll do some pranayama, and then I'm going to guide you into a meditation that allows you to tune in to the higher frequency vibrations that are going on. Some of it will be visualization, sort of comprehending what that concept is, and some of it will be just sort of experiencing yourself in space, so to speak. And we will use a sound which will just be R. We're just going to intone the R sound. So just let your eyes close. Just have maybe a little bit, I'm just going to have a bit of a stretch. I've been at the computer for a few hours prior to this. Roll my shoulders. Lovely. Let's bring our hands to the shoulders. Inhale, draw a big circle. Lovely. Let's change directions. Lovely. Now keep the hands where they are. We're just going to work on releasing the upper back. So just start off with a slow movement from side to side. And just listen to how the body feels. So, if it feels too fast or too far round, then slow it down and don't go as far. And then start to work with the breath. So the inhale is left and the exhale is right. And if it feels comfortable, build up the speed. Lovely, come back to centre, let the arms release. Take a deep breath in. And have a sigh out. Okay, so I'm just going to do a few movements from the earth breath to increase the openness of the heart space. So we'll just do the arm movements. So as you interlace the fingers, inhale, let the hands come up towards the throat. Exhale, push the hands down and forward. Start inhaling. Exhale with a sigh. And again, breathing in. Breathing out. Inhaling on the way up. Lovely, and release. Close your eyes. And just checking in on the spinal column that it's nice and straight. Maybe just move the head a little bit from side to side so you can feel as if you're lengthening it. Draw a bit of a circle. freeing up any trapped energy around the neck. Change directions. Lovely, and back to centre. Just simply observing the natural breath to start with. Notice the sound of the breath as you breathe in, and the sound of the breath as it comes back out. Feel its wave-like quality, where there's always that, just a moment of where the wave is teetering at the top of the inhale before it wants to release its energy and exhale. And be aware of that natural pause at the end of the breath out where the wave is low before it starts to build its energy again. And know this breath, the simple inflow and outflow, to be the energy of the divine. As one inhalation turns and moves outwards to become the exhalation, and then it turns again, comes inwards to become the inhalation. And it's known in the very ancient texts of the play of the divine, the energy that animates the physical form and all that exists in the manifest universe. Just simply observing its presence as it moves and animates you. And on a sensory level, notice the temperature of the inhalation. And notice the temperature of the exhalation. Slightly warmed by the interior temperature of the body vehicle. And use the sense of sound to be aware of the subtle change of frequency of the inhalation and the exhalation. So really tuning in the senses like you would on a radio. So our energetic system is like a radio unit inside the physical body. And when we work with pranayama, meditation, we start to tune to higher frequencies of energy and light. So just observing the subtle sound, the subtle temperature. And also notice touch, so we sense that as the breath comes into the nostrils, and we're aware of the temperature, but there's also like a placement of energy onto the skin, so we're sensing through touch. It's very subtle. And then also on the exhalation, as well as the heat of the breath that's changed, there's a sense of the breath flowing out of the nostrils on the outer edge of the inside edge and just on the tip of the top lip. So just using our senses to tune in to ever higher frequencies of information. Feel the touch of the breath inside the body vehicle, how it expands and contracts the lungs. And we feel that through inferred movement of the rib cage expanding front, side and back, and from the diaphragm pushing down into the visceral organs. Notice the subtle, almost like, the only way I can describe it is load of energy. So there's a slight difference of charge when we inhale. The frequency of the inhale is slightly higher, so it makes us feel as if we're lifting upwards, expanding outwards. And then the exhalation is a sense of releasing denser energy. And this is a very simple process that we can do to start to tune into higher vibrational frequencies that are out there communicating with us at all times. So feel that lightness as you inhale, a sense of expansion. And that releasing and letting go of what no longer serves, a heavy density, energy. And as you continue with just experiencing the inhale and the exhale on many different sensory levels, I want you to see if you can expand your awareness of your senses. So as we're inhaling and we're expanding the body on a very basic physical level, we feel the physical vehicle expand. And then contract. But I want you to go deeper. And I want you to place your attention at the centre of the chest, into the heart space, and visualise a light. Like a lighthouse beacon. And this light is the individual manifestation of consciousness that resides within this particular body vehicle this time round. And this is what connects us to everything, to each other. And as you inhale, see if you can, as well as visualise, which is part of the creative capacity of human beings, I want you to see if you can feel through that creativity an expansion of the light beyond the physical body. So we feel the physical body expanding, but I want you to sense the light expanding. So we become boundaryless. So it's our physical body that keeps the individual spark of consciousness anchored into the physical realm. And it's also the physical body that gives us our ego, which is a fear-based energy. And that comes through our senses. So the information that comes in through our eyes, ears, smell, taste, touch. But there's also information that comes in from much higher frequencies that we are affected by, but we're not always conscious of it. So what I'm aiming to do with this subtle breath work is to increase and amplify your ability to tune in to higher frequencies. So you're aware of that light at the heart space, like a beacon, like a lighthouse that shines outwards towards others, but it's also a light that allows you to bring the senses inwards to discover your true self. And then let's lift our focus to the throat and use the idea of tuning in to energy. So very subtle energy. So as you inhale and exhale, on a less subtle level, we can feel the breath moving in and out of the windpipe. It's actually subtler than the nostrils, but see if you can sense the breath moving in and out of the windpipe, which is just a very three-dimensional level of awareness. Now take your attention deeply into the throat, almost as if you're looking inwards with a microscopic lens, and you're flowing in and you're aware of the blood vessels and the nervous system, the windpipe itself and the joint structure of the neck. But go in further, so you're amplifying the magnification and you're using your imagination and your creativity and your breath and your senses. Go right into the molecular structure, into the cellular structure of that region of the body. And then imagine as you go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper inwards that dissolves. And actually what we're seeing now is energy, and it's green. Imagine a beautiful green ball of energy vibrating at the throat. And we're just going to use a sound, which is just the R sound only, to align to a higher frequency. We're going to focus our attention at the throat. Take a deep breath in. So just feel that sound within the body and use all of the senses and that subtle sense as well, which is tuning into vibration, to feel the energy moving within the body. So these movements are actually vast but subtle at the same time. And it's not until we tune into the frequency that is always there and has always existed that we start to allow our own vibrational frequency to rise with it. So it's almost as if the physical body is a tower block, and if we are vibrating on a lower frequency level where we are just we eat food unconsciously, we just shove our face with food, and we drink without thinking of how that additional stuff within the body affects it, then we are functioning from the basement, shall we say. So our view of understanding what the world is limited to basement level. And then the more we refine our senses and our observation of our mind and our habits, the more we have a bigger view. So imagine now that you've lifted up and you're sort of, I don't know, level 5, looking out, and you're at the heart space, and there's this much bigger view, and you can see other people and they go about their daily lives, and there's this level of exchange of kindness and compassion and a sense of other than yourself. And then as you move higher upwards, you start to become aware of an even bigger awareness that is beyond the senses. And we're, as a human body vehicle, it's very limited, because we know, for instance, that bats see in the night, so they have a very different sight spectrum. Dolphins have a much higher frequency of hearing and communication. So do birds. Dogs have a much better smell than ours, etc. So we can't assume that we can hear, see, taste, smell everything that exists, because we just can't. But it does exist, and it is flowing through us. What we're learning to do is to tune into the higher frequency. So bring your attention to the top of the head now. And I want you to just notice if you feel a sensation of something very subtle pressing down on the top of the head. It's not even pressing down, actually. It's literally just touching it. And it's almost as if it's above the head. This is called the monad. And this is the higher self. And it's almost as if the central part of the higher self is quite high above the head. But the energy of it, we can feel connecting towards the crown, and actually it does connect because it just flows into us. So just see if you can be aware of that energy. And if you can't sense it with your faculties, then imagine it, because imagination and creativity lifts our frequency so that we can tune in like a radio station to these finer frequencies that are available to us. Lovely. Now just tune back to the breath, but with your attention at the top of the head. But your attention is also third eye, throat and heart space. And we're going to see if we can sense the flow of energy from this area above the head. So as you inhale, visualize, sense the energy being consciously pulled into the top of the head, through the third eye, into the throat, to the heart space. Just noticing the subtle currents of energy. And let's intone the R sound again, but with your mental attention up at the top near the monad. Take a deep breath in. And again, after the sound has been created, rest in the very subtle vibration that it leaves in the body field. So not just the physical body, but the energetic field. Lovely. Now we're just going to intersperse this meditation journey with alternate nostril, just to clear out any impurities from the nadis, so it makes the next stage of the meditation with a little bit more clarity. Hold on a minute, the dog's coming upstairs and she sounds like a steam train. Go downstairs. That's what happens when you get older. Okay, so let's work with alternate nostril. Hand, the right hand to the face. Breathe into both nostrils. Block the right nostril, breathe down the left side. Inhale to the left. And block the left nostril, breathe down the right side. Into the right. Down the left. And just keep going. Start to visualize the air that you're drawing in is actually charged with these pranic particles that have an amazing sort of golden copper colour to them. And you're just adding them to your energy field. Just really filling the body with this copper gold vibrating energy, clearing out the body's systems. It's feeling that sense of balance, a sense of tuning inwards to that particle of consciousness that we carry in the physical vehicle. And as we just continue with the alternate nostril and that sense of the self at the heart space shining out, can you get a sense of other doing this practice with you? So we start to remember that we are not separate. Just complete the round that you're on. Make sure that you exhale from the left to complete. Just let the hands come together. So just settling your awareness once more through the senses to start with. So that sense of the breath at the nostrils, how we can sense it through the touch of the air, its temperature, the actual energy charge that comes in compared to the different energy frequency that comes out. Be aware of a observing the texture of the breath, how it expands and contracts the physical body, the lungs, the visceral organs get gently squeezed on a very basic physical level, and then allow your attention to move outwards to feel that expanse of light that expands from the heart space, fills the whole body and moves beyond the physical. And in order to attune to the higher frequency energies that are saturating us at the moment, we almost have to let go of the old programming, our old belief structures, and allow them to release. And then we'll simply be allowed to lift. So if you imagine that you are on a post near the beach, one of those sort of staiths that you get, and you're actually chained to it, and the chains represent your the past conditioning that we've all had and the past programming that we've all had for thousands and thousands of years. And what will happen as the energy of the new earth starts to rise, we can either remove those old patterns by choosing to let go of them, or we keep hold of them and we'll just stay at the same frequency as the tide. And then we won't be able to rise up because the chains will hold us where we are now. So I want you to visualize that you're making a conscious decision to release the chains of your programming. So our programming comes from society, parents, structure of education, and just almost having a leap of faith that if you release the chains, you will float with the incoming tide of energy that's coming towards us. So start to visualize the tide coming in. And notice that rather than being held in place, you're now floating with it. And as each of the waves come in and the tide gets higher, you're literally just floating with it. So you're able to rise with it and feel that sense of energy rising within you through this sense of attunement that we're using through the body vehicle, the ears, the sense of taste, smell, touch, hearing. And notice any subtle experiences near the chakras, particularly heart, throat, third eye, crown of the head. This might just come as it might come as a sensation of energy, like a tingling. It may feel like a flow of energy moving up like a river. It may be images. Just observing your ability to tune in to the higher frequencies. And we're going to do the sound once more. So try to tune into the same frequency of sound that I'm creating. Sense it like a wave pulling your awareness. It's kind of like an upward pull, but it's also an expansive pull. Almost like we're dropping ourselves into this massive ocean and we're allowing the ripples to expand our awareness outwards. So that sense of floating, still being lifted by this tide of energy, and just allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to be released into this tide, this upsurge of energy. So I have a few light codes coming in, which are higher vibrational energy. So if you wish to receive them, just receive them into the body and allow them to just adjust your frequency. If they're not right for you, they'll just pass through you. So whenever I receive codes, they're for myself, and then they get channeled through my own heart out into yours, because we are all interconnected through our heart spaces. We are all the same. So feel that sense of connection to light at the heart. Isyo ura nyanyasiate tukukuru badakaria na a. Iri iriasiana luto kakabra ianana sioto tukura a. Irinisiana nanoto tukuru urabatakasia nanotuta kakarabatakasia na a. Just feel the frequency of those light codes moving into the body's system. Sinu uru takakabarasiena a tatakrutsiena yeta takukuro takabarasiena a tatakerisiaha. Just feel that sense of connection to your individual self, but connection to other through this practice. And the remembering of the self. And that we are not separate. Good, now start to focus the exhalation down through the body. So we're just grounding this energy into the physical plane for it to take root. Lovely, let the hands come to the heart space. And as we inhale and sweep the arms up, have that sense of connection to other outside of the physical body. And as you exhale, that connection inwards from other to our individual self. And namaste. Thank you for joining me.